Welcome back. Boy, do I have a lot of things I need to talk about today in today's podcast. As we will cover various topics. We're going to talk about the NBA Top 100, talk about our favorite pal, Stephen A. Smith, Colorado football, Michigan football. Talk about Gilbert Arenas a little bit, discipline among youth athletes. And as y'all can see what I'm wearing today, my Detroit Lions. That's going to be on the topic of today's show. So, all right, let's talk about this NBA Top 100. Okay, ESPN, you guys are a joke. Let's just put this out here right off the bat. You have John Morant. He's ranked 34th of all the NBA players. Last year, he was ranked 9th. Now, what in the world happened to his basketball skills from last year to this year? Okay, because I remember him in the playoffs, dropping almost 40 a night in the playoffs. And to this year, I know he's suspended, but what does that have to do with him and his ranking? If you had a pick of a draft, where would you actually pick him? Would that 25-game suspension actually matter? He's not banned from the NBA. There's a difference. So I don't understand how you guys do your rankings. That is absolutely just crazy, right? You had Kyrie Irving at 33. That's actually interesting as well. 33. How many point guards are in the league today that are better than Kyrie Irving? We got time. You have to make sense with your rankings, right? All right. The biggest one is Luka. Now, I like Luka. Smooth, great player. But he's ranked 4th. Let me say something about Luka. Luka's not even the best player on his team, right? I mean, let's just be honest about this. Is Luka better than Kyrie Irving? No. Okay. I mean, you can pick up any street ball you want if you want to play one-on-one, any category, right? He's listed as a forward. He's listed as a guard. Is he better than Steph? Steph's a guard. As a forward, is he better than Tatum? Is he better than LeBron? Is he better than KD? Is he better than Booker? What are we really talking about? He's not even the best player on this team. He's not even the top 3 in the position that he plays. But yet he's 4th. That does not make any sense to me. We have to really sit back and take a look at what are we really trying to do. When you talk about the top 100 players, top 100 players in the NBA, I want to emphasize the word 100, right? Because the biggest one to me, even though I said, Ja, Kyrie, Luka, Russell Westbrook, he's 94th. Okay, 94th. I don't even know where to go there. I mean, Brook Lopez is better than Russell Westbrook. It doesn't even make sense. It really does not make sense. And it's right. All right. I mean, we can go on with this. You have rookies that are ranked better than Russell Westbrook. It's not like Russell Westbrook was hurt, didn't play last year. It wasn't like he didn't. I mean, I believe he actually played 70 some odd games. It was only 82 in the season. So his body of work, I'm not understanding. Right? That doesn't make sense to me. So the problem that I have with this is the media. You understand that this all NBA teams, this top 100 list, those types of things right there. It affects the money of these guys are making. Right now, you have a situation in which if you make the all NBA team, Ja, for example, well, he didn't make the all NBA team last year. I don't understand why he didn't. I don't care what his off the field or off the court issues were. He still is one of the best players in the league. So because of not making the all NBA team, he was not allowed to make a Supermax contract, which essentially was $60 some odd million left on the table. But the media drives this. Okay, I don't. The media drives that type of voting. Therefore, these guys' contracts are associated with that. That doesn't make sense to me. Hey, because normally people in the media, they haven't played. And I don't want to hear that, oh, I've been covering. Okay, what the hell does that mean? And you've been covering. I can assure you, if I was covering, let's say heart surgery, and you came to me with a heart problem, you're not going to take my advice because I'm not a surgeon. I'm not a doctor. Okay, and please do not embarrass me and say something like, hey, well, Coach Pop never played in the league. That's disrespectful. Because Coach Pop had to bust his butt playing at Air Force, bust his butt going as an assistant coach, bust his butt as an assistant in college, a head coach in college, work with NBA professionals, all the way through until he got to a team that somebody could trust him to run a team. So he went through the gauntlet, all right, of being the coach or an assistant coach. So miss me with that. If you really want to talk about media and you want to talk about how much knowledge that the media has, here's an interesting way of looking at it. How many, well, I'm going to say it differently. The NBA is owned by billionaires playing in $100 million stadiums with $100 million chess pieces. They could buy a championship because that's what they want. I've yet to see a media person come off an anchor desk or off an ink pen and actually run a professional organization. That goes for any sport. All right. So we really need to sit back and talk about qualified individuals picking these types of lists, because a lot of money is being left on the table by barbershop talk. And if you don't understand the game and understand what you're looking at, there's nowhere in the world a person like Russell Westbrook is 94th in the league. That don't even make sense. Kyrie, 33, Luka 4. I mean, I want you to sit back and think about something for a second. If you had a draft right now, would you pick Luka or would you pick Durant? "21 years in the game. Do you pick Luka or do you pick LeBron?" Right? So let's talk about the top three, because this is actually funny too. Oh, so you got Embiid, who's ranked 3. Okay. You have Joker, who is ranked 2, and you have Giannis, that's ranked number 1. Well, that doesn't make sense because Embiid was the MVP last year. What happened to his game between last year and today? Was it because Giannis went out and got trained by Hakeem Olajuwon? I mean, I'm just trying to figure this out. That doesn't make sense to me either, right? All right, now let's really concentrate on those 3. Embiid is not a top 3 player. He's a good player. But I'm going to ask that question again. Do you pick him or do you pick Durant? Do you pick him or do you pick LeBron? Do you pick him or do you pick Steph? Okay, and I like Steph. Well, I do. I think he changed the game. But you're not picking Steph as a general manager over Durant or LeBron. Okay, you might pick Joker because he can do more. Right? Giannis, athletic player, like his game. He ain't number one. Okay? So I think you should redo your order. And one of your orders should look something like this. If you want to talk about past performances, leading the team, and those types of things, you got to put Joker at number one. Okay? You got to put LeBron, you got to put KD up there. Okay? Hey, Giannis is a great player. I'll put him in the top four. It won't be Luka. Now, do you want to put Steph in there? I can understand that. But I would not. Greek would not be in there. Just trying to tell you, right? If you were an NBA general manager right now, trying to formulate a team based on what you've already saw, what you're not going to do is pick, and I can't even pronounce his name, Wambi. You're not picking him in the top 10. Right? You're not going to pick him in the top 20. So, what are we really talking about? You're not going to pick him in the top 30. Oh, by the way, you get down to the 30s, that's where you get Ja Morant and you get Kyrie. So, that's my take on that one right there. Like, top 100, I looked at it, took me 5 seconds, is to say, these guys don't know what they're doing. All right? I don't even know how they even came up with this. They said it was 50 individuals who sat back and came up with that list. I can tell you right now, I'm in a room with 3 other individuals. It would take us hours to come up with the top list. They'd be arguing and all type of stuff going on right now. So I don't know where you get 50 journalists coming up with that. That doesn't make any sense. Y'all need to cut it out. So I'm going to move on and talk about my man, Stephen A. Smith. I'm going to take a drink on that one because this guy here, where are we going to start? Why every time there is an issue, his name is always in it? Every single controversy on his opinion. So you get into it with Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens, the media, again, has essentially destroyed this guy. We don't look at him as one of the best wide receivers ever. He's in the same conversation as Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. But we don't look at him that way. And the reason why we don't look at him that way is because of the perception that the media has given us. Every single time Terrell Owens stepped on the field, he was the biggest threat on the field. Donovan McNabb, he played with him. When T.O. left, how good was he afterwards? Jeff Garcia, how good was he afterwards? He played for Cincinnati, don't even know who his quarterback was. He played for Buffalo, don't even know what quarterback that was. Did he play for the Cowboys too? Yeah. We all know how Tony Romo was, right? Deion said it best. Once Prescott came, his days was numbered. But the controversy between him and Stephen A. Smith. See, this is some, I'm going to keep it PG, but this is some real lame stuff with Stephen A. Smith is what he did. For those who don't know, a while ago, Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman used to be partners on First Take. Stephen A. Smith, in my opinion, felt intimidated by this white guy. Max Kellerman, pretty smart on paper and on television. All he does is just make sense in what he's saying. Well, that's not what Stephen A. wanted, especially when it came down to things such as social issues. Both of the guys are from New York. Stephen A. is from New York. Max is from LA. So when you get a guy who comes in, regardless of what skin color they are, they can actually, they have friends, been around, kind of understand some of the issues that are happening in our communities. And they're going to bring a different perspective to it. Now, as long as it's not disrespectful, it's okay to listen to what they got to say. But what happens is when that person makes a better point than what you can make, then it becomes an issue because people will actually start listening to that person instead of you. And so since this was your show, you decided to kick him off. And see, here comes Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens comes in and he says, clear as day. Well, Max Kellerman, he's acting more blacker than you. And you got offended. Okay? So from that day on, he's on what we call, back in Detroit, borrowed time. Okay? So because the fans was upset that they fired Max Kellerman, they brought up the article or the video of what Terrell Owens said to you. And you got mad. So you go on the defense and go after T.O. You tried to say he was broke. How T.O. tried to sue you. T.O. didn't actually try to sue you. You actually broke a civil rule. Oh, okay? And so you had to be silenced. You cannot use other people's information if it's copyrighted. So maybe if you follow some journalistic ethics, you would have understood that instead of trying to twist it and turn it against the public. That's why you have other journalists coming after you. So you need to be careful because Terrell Owens wasn't playing. And I thought it was actually interesting what he said. And being from Detroit, I'm out here, Chicagoland area. He made it clear. He said, keep that same energy. Newsflash, that's a term. In other words, when they see you, it's on site. Right? So understand you need to be watching your back, Stephen A. Now I'm going to move right along and try to keep this rolling right here and talk about the guy who I wanted to be when I grew up, it didn't work out, was Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffalo football team. I don't know what happened last week, man. That was just horrible. 29-0 at halftime, and then you blow that lead. I believe it was 42 points. How you get that up in the second half? But let's talk about expectations for a second. University of Colorado was 1-11 last year. You got a new coach, a couple new players, high-profile players. What really is their expectation? You expect for them to go undefeated? No. Football is the ultimate team sport. You got to get 11 individuals on the same page. He brought in 85 new players onto a roster. How do you get 85 people to be on the same page in less than 8 months? That's insane, right? So for them to come off and go 3-0, knocking off TCU at the beginning, beat Nebraska, they came out, beat Colorado State. Then they ran into Oregon. Oregon is a well-established machine that's been dominant in football for the last 15, if not 20 years. Coaching carousel at Oregon has remained the same. In other words, they're hiring within. They're not reaching outside the box to try to bring somebody in to establish a recruiting pipeline. They already have those pipelines in California. Now you got Deion Sanders, who's bringing people to Colorado. You're bringing brothers to Colorado. Not Denver, but Boulder. Okay. I've been to Boulder, Colorado. Oh, beautiful. Football players back in the 90s, when there was no internet, when there wasn't no social media, they just wanted to get away from home. That's why they were able to go to LA. Think about what was going on in LA during that time. Think about what's going on down in Florida during that time, down in Texas. Yeah, so they was able to get several good players. But now, with everything's all noticeable, for him still to be able to go to those same places and get players, he's doing a good thing. But what's his expectation in his first year? Then you're going against USC. I mean, they only been relevant in football for like the last 60 years. Remember, USC was the one who tore down Bill Bryant. USC was the school who actually helped integrate the SEC. So clearly, and they're in LA. Let me explain something to you. They're not in LA. They're in Compton. See, a lot of people don't know. UCLA is the public school. They're in Beverly Hills. USC is in the hood, and that's the private school. Both of them are two very beautiful campuses, too. So what would you expect for Colorado to go in there and just beat them guys? No, it's going to take years to do that. Consistently. They might get upset, but consistently beat them? Day uno? What's the expectation? Now, what they did to Stanford, again, that's another well-oiled machine. Now, they're struggling this year. But again, what do you expect? I mean, Notre Dame can go play Colorado tomorrow, and Colorado will probably lose. They will lose against Michigan. They'll lose against Ohio State. They'll lose against Alabama. They'll probably lose against Texas A&M. Definitely going to lose against Georgia. So what is the expectation for Deion? In my opinion, and I said this earlier, I expect for him to win 5 games. And maybe sneak out one for 6 to make him bowl eligible. That's a hell of an improvement from a 1-11 team. Especially if you get them to a bowl. And it don't make a difference what bowl it is. It could be the My Little Pony Bowl. Okay, it's going to be so loud, everybody going to see it, and everybody going to watch the game. I got one better for you. As of today, Colorado's not even the best team in the state of Colorado. They probably will struggle against Air Force. It's because he does not have all the players and they don't have not meshed yet. That's the difference between the media. You can see where his theme is going. And people who understand and play the game. You have to have chemistry. You got to know what your teammate is doing. You can't get that in 8 to 9 months in practice. You got to do it on the live fire in a game. Okay? So stay off of Dion. Let his son go and do his thing. Shador, or he doing his thing. And Travis doing his thing. Right? I just hope they come back next year. A couple more kids come in recruiting. And they're going to be even better. They're not going to win a national championship next year. Okay? But they'll be better than they were this year. Just like they're better now than they were last year. And so, we need to really set expectations when we sit back and talk about sports and understand what you're talking about. And as you see with this jersey I have on, which I'll talk about later, right? I understand about expectations. Moving right along tomorrow, Maranda. University of Michigan. Oh boy, Jim Harbaugh, you did a good thing today. Of course, you beat our little brother Sparty. Actually, I'm assuming you're beating them because I just before we did this podcast, you're playing them right now. And anytime you can beat up a little brother, that's always a good thing, right? I got love for Sparty because I know some friends of mine who went to school there. My aunt went to school there. My sister went to school there. So I have respect for them, especially Case Hall. Been there a lot of times. But what's up with, I'm trying to figure out, Jim, how do you got people on your staff stealing signals? Okay? You got to be careful with that, man. You know the NCAA is gunning for you. This isn't the first time that you've gotten into some issues. I love Michigan to death. Okay? Born there, raised there, educated there, graduated from there. You got to be more careful because everyone's gunning for you. You were Deion Sanders before Deion Sanders when it came to college football. When you came to Michigan, you had the same hype. Everyone hated you, right? Except for the people that was loyal to Maize and Blue. You had your shortcomings, but you have been able to improve every single year. Back-to-back playoffs, back-to-back Big Ten champs. You beat them boys down there. You know how we feel about Ohio State. You beat them twice. And for those that know, I got the owner here, Mark. We're going to actually be doing the podcast right before that game, Ohio State and Michigan. Right? I don't know why. You know, he latches on the teams. You know, so I understand. I'm looking at him right now over there. He ain't gonna look at me back, but I'm just saying. And you know, he like to. I'm gonna keep it PG, but we have a secret word for him. That on the next one, I'll make sure I'll say what we think of that team that's down there. All right. But the moral to the story is this: Jim, you've done a lot of good things at University of Michigan. Right, you don't want to get yourself involved in any scandals, right? All right, you know you dodged a couple bullets earlier on recruiting violations. More importantly, you know you suspended 3 games beforehand. There's no reason this season you missed the first 3 games. Come on, man, and you don't need to have some. And I love the word that Trump actually. Like I said, he actually invented this. We call them low-level staffers. They're employees, okay, at the end of the day, right? Someone directed this guy to go here and take a look at this game and focus on one thing, right? You ain't got to do that. You got the boys. You're recruiting nationally. You need to make sure that your nose is clean or do a better job of covering your nose. Gilbert Arenas. This is my guy. I had to sit back and think of what I was going to say about him. Gilbert Arenas was his podcast is off the chain, right? His podcast is legit. I'm glad he's on 4 nights a week. It's interesting is it's been a long time since I've actually came home or scheduled time to watch an actual show of any sort consistently and religiously, I should say. Hey, topics are on point, and he brings a different perspective to the game. Very, very high IQ to the game, and people who don't agree with him usually don't understand the game. They don't understand the game, and I've rarely heard him say anything that was really outrageous. Not like Stephen A. Smith, right? Same guy said the Bengals was going to win the Super Bowl. Come on now. Come on. Same guy that said Justin Fields was going to be a Pro Bowler this year. You do know where Justin Fields play, right? All right. With that being said, man, come on now. I have some more. I got some more of that at the end of this podcast. But Gilbert's podcast is spot on. I suggest everyone go watch Gil's Arena. You know, right? It's entertaining. Killian Martin is a riot. You should listen to what he said about the NBA Top 100. Just listen to that. I mean, what he said was spot on. I don't curse quite like that, at least not on air. If you know me outside of here, I do curse. But the moral to the story is you got to go ahead and check out his podcast because it's highly entertaining and it's very educational. Now, I'm going to go off on a different topic. I'm going to talk about youth athletes and talk about a subject. Actually, it was brought up a little bit today. Hey, I'm not going to mention any names or anything like that because I don't want to. It depends on who watches this. You know, you want to get anyone caught up. But discipline of youth athletes. No, this year I had to coach football with my son. Discipline. What is that? Well, first of all, discipline starts at the house. Okay? It ain't got nothing to do with sports. All right? Is someone's doing what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. And resist the temptations not to do the wrong things when they know they shouldn't be doing it. That's pretty much what discipline is. I'm gonna give you an example of where discipline breaks down in the house. You tell your kids come home and do their homework. How many times do you have to tell them? If you have to say that every single day, then the kid is not disciplined. Or even better, if you're a parent and you don't tell them or ensure that it's done, discipline. Okay? Hey, it is what it is. Deion Sanders says something, and I'm gonna try to say it similar to how he said it. He basically says something to the effect of, us as parents, we try. Our parents has raised us to outdo them, and we should be applauded. There should be the progression should always be good, better, every single generation, I should say. But somewhere down the line, we sit back and we say, hey, when we have kids, we're going to do something different. Regardless of whatever that experience was, mama used to whoop your butt all the time, and dad used to yell at you all the time. I'm not going to do that to my kid. Okay, that's understood. And the way Deion said it is you're raising a cat instead of a dog. See, when you come into your house, a cat, it'll look at you, and then walk away. Cat only comes around you when you want attention, when it wants attention. If you want to go play with the cat, and the cat don't want to play with it, it'll hurt you, scratch you up. When you go to a grocery store for a cat, right? You actually sit there in the aisle, look at the canned food, and it looks like, meat. Pick which one you think is going to be delicious for the cat, put it in your cart. But when you have a dog, you always get that dry dog food, wondering why is it so much. But toss it in the bowl. It ain't prepared. Give them scraps. Dog actually have to do something in order for you to reward it by petting it on the head. Dog craves for attention. Cat jumps all up on your couch. Over the time, it scratches it up, tears up the couch, go buy a new one. Dog jump on the couch. You smacking upside the newspaper talking about get down. Go back to the cat. A cat actually crap in your house and you pick it up. A dog crap in your house, you kick him in the butt, throwing him outside. As a matter of fact, a dog, you'll put it in a crate so it doesn't mess up. You control it. So what happens when little Johnny, again, you're raising a cat instead of a dog. So when little Johnny is put in little dog-like situations where he has to be tough and brave, or you have a daughter, we'll call her Susie, okay, where she needs to be bold and stand up for herself, just remember, you raised a cat. That's what Dion was saying, okay? So when I coached football this year, I'm trying to figure out what in the world was I coaching? We got kids every day in practice talking about they want to tackle, but when we get to the game, they didn't do that. They want to dominate each other. And this one is what got me. They played against their team of classmates and quit. It's a different generation. If I played against my classmates, I'm going after their head. They're going to respect me that day if they didn't respect me any other time. But we're talking about discipline. This is what this conversation is all about, discipline. You have kids in sports where a coach tells them to do something and all of a sudden they grow a brain and do something totally different. If you keep that up, and this is for all parents, for kids who have kids that's entering sports, and really I'm going to say entering life. If you get the label of going out there and not doing what you're supposed to do, you become what's called uncoachable. A kid that lacks discipline in a controlled environment that's been structured and they don't follow the instruction, they're not coachable. I'm just being honest. You sit back and we'll say, I believe it was Jimmy Johnson. They say either you're going to do exactly what I say, or what I'll do exactly what I tell you to do, or what I allow you to do. So I tell the story. We go in and again we get shut out. Kids, no, check out. Then I just go ahead and make a decision. We're only going to play the kids that want to play. amazing how everybody acts correct during practice. We get to the game, the first mistake you make, pull you. You can play the second half when you stop growing that brain. You make the second mistake, you don't play anymore. You should have heard the kids on the sidelines. Hey, am I going back in? Am I getting some more plays? My response is, your brain stop growing? It's unfortunate you gotta be the bad guy like that. Because I have a bunch of cats. Feelings are involved. I'm not happy. I'm emotional. Well, here's a catch. Now my son, starting Monday, be coaching his basketball team. I've been coaching for a long time. It's my 29th year, actually. Can you imagine how those kids are about to be because of the experience that I had with that football team when I sit back and talk about discipline? And are you coachable? All right, I'm going to finish this up right here and talk about my Detroit Lions is because it's been a long, long time since I have seen them. Right now, I guess they're 4 games over 500. I mean, wow. It's been a long, 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 long time. The last time I remember the Detroit Lions this good, I think it was in 1990. Lions when they had Scott Mitchell and Barry Sanders. I remember they lost the first game of the year to the Redskins, and they lost the last game to the Redskins. I believe the Redskins went on to win that championship, the Super Bowl, and I believe they played the Bills that year. There and it's been a long time, and I had a gentleman come in and talk about, wish we could have did it with Stafford, right? And I like Stafford. I'm not gonna rip Stafford at all today. But keep in mind, right now I got Megatron's jersey on. The Lions, they had to do something. They weren't the new management team, general managers, front office people. They said, "Hey, we can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result." So you traded your franchise quarterback, who's definitely going to go into the Ring of Honor in Detroit. In my opinion, he was the best quarterback, at least since I've been alive, since the 80s that Detroit has ever had. We traded him away for crazy draft picks, 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders. And you took your losing record with it. So you sit in the draft with 3 first-round picks, 2 of them in the top 10 the first year. The second year, you got 3 of them in the top 20. And you know what you did? You drafted correctly. You drafted all your needs and got the best players. Traded players that was just there for a paycheck. Now, you got a big test tomorrow with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to root for you. I might even wear this jersey tomorrow. But the moral to the story is this. I'm from Detroit. I love Detroit. And I love my Lions. So what I need is especially because I live here in the Chicagoland area. Actually, I live in Northwest Indiana. when I'm out here in the Chicagoland area, we got the Cubs football team. I mean the Bears. Sorry, football team, and they talk about every year how they go win a Super Bowl. What is your expectation? Every year I want my Detroit Lions to do well. I look at the roster, I look at the schedule. What's your expectation? Right? We got to be realistic. Right? At some point in life, I was playing ball. I thought I was going to the NBA. No, what's your expectation? Right? You got to be realistic with each other. Well, I'm going to end this on this note here. I want everybody to hit the like button. Definitely subscribe. And until next time, go blue.